Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. We are currently working our way through my latest batch of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest Partworks magazines, which is produced by Hachette Publishing in association with Games Workshop. As a subscriber, I get these in batches of 4 once a month. My latest batch arrived on Christmas Eve, and this is the second magazine from that batch. It is issue 16, which includes a grab bag of miniatures. A weird selection of miniatures. Why is that? Well, we will explain all. Let's set the magazine aside for one moment. Plastic stems. Bases. The excitement, I know. And the frame. So, what have we got on this particular frame? We have got 2 Intercessors. Intercessors have these bolt rifles. So there is 2 of them. We have 2 Hellblasters. They have these. Sorry, that one, and where's the other one? That one, plasma weapons. And then we also have one of the jumpy ones. The jumpy ones. What are the jumpy ones called? Inceptors. Inceptors. I wanted to say Intercessors again, but no. Inceptors. And they have these heavy bolt pistols and jump packs. You're only getting one of him on the sprue. They have included 3 stems. I'm wondering if they're going to include, because obviously this is how they're produced in sets of 3. I'm wondering if they're going to include a set of stems each time they include an Inceptor. If not, I would hold on to all 3, even though you're only going to be using 1 at the moment. Hold on to all 3, because if they don't give you another set, you're going to need the other 2 eventually. Because I can see what will be happening with this. You're going to get another one of these frames later on. Because you need 3 frames to build a 5-man unit of Intercessors and Hellblasters and Inceptors, and that's because these are the frames from the Dark Imperium starter set. The Dark Imperium starter set, and also No Fear. And we'll talk about No Fear because it's a little bit easier, because Dark Imperium included more miniatures. But No Fear included 2 of these frames, exactly the same frames, and then one other frame that had the captains in. So once you'd assembled 2 of these frames, you would have 4 Inceptors, 4 Hellblasters, and 4 Intercessors, 4 Hellblasters, and 2 Inceptors. And then when you built the 3rd frame, which had the captains on, it would complete a 5-man squad of Intercessors, a 5-man squad of Hellblasters, and a 3-man squad of Inceptors, which is how they come onto the battlefield. They come in 3s and 5s and 5s, or 10s with bigger units. So that's how this particular frame works, and it was a frame exclusively made for the starter sets. So that's why you're getting an odd mix of characters at the moment. You're not getting a full squad here. You're getting bits of a squad, because a subsequent issue of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest will include another one of these frames, and then another issue down the line will include that 3rd frame that has the captains on it, so that you can complete the 5-man and 3-man squads respectively. So that's why it's a slightly odd mix, and why you're not getting complete units, and why it is what it is. This is because Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine is not making exclusive content. There was 1 exclusive miniature early on, and all the rest are lifted from sets. They're box sets or starter sets. By lifting these from the starter sets as is, it means you get this slightly odd mix of unit types. But eventually it will make sense, because like I say, it will give you another one of these, then they'll give you the captain sprue, and then you've suddenly got all complete squads, and it all sort of ties together eventually over time. It's also, this was obviously done by Games Workshop for the starter sets, and it made the starter sets easy to produce, because it meant they could do multiples of the same frame in a box set, and then you managed to build your 5-man units and 3-man units. it also works for a Partworks magazine, because you're not going to want to cancel your subscription until you've got your full units, or you're less likely to. I mean, obviously you can go and buy the complete units yourself elsewhere, but it kind of keeps you on the hook a little bit, which is something that Partworks magazines want to do frequently, is keep you on the hook, because subscriptions drop off over time with Partworks magazine. Not very many people, I think, make it all the way to the end of a subscription of a Partworks magazine. People get fed up, they drop out. This is a way of keeping them in for another, you know, I can't go until I've got my complete unit, so they're going to hold on and hold on and hold on. The miniatures themselves are, they're not easy build. They do require glue, but they are monopose and they are easy to build. So you will require glue to put them together, but they're pretty much static. There's no weapon options. They come as they are. There is one bit of posability you can do with each of them, and that is the heads have two directions you can attach them. So you can attach them to the facing to the right, or attach them to the facing to the left, and that does actually surprisingly give quite a different feel to the miniatures when they're assembled. Just changing the direction of the head changes the momentum of the model. So if you've got them looking in the way they're running, it's like a charge. But if you've got them looking in the opposite direction of where they're running, it's like they're turning around, or they're noticing something that's behind them, or they're ducking down behind something. It shifts the momentum, and the center of gravity of the model seems to change, and that does. It creates more variation than you might initially think for. But at the end of the day, units of Space Marines, there's supposed to be a certain amount of uniformity across a unit, so you're not looking for massive variation really between similarly armed models. But anyway, yeah, so that's what you're getting. You're getting an odd grab bag, and this does make my life a little bit difficult, because one of the things that I am doing with this subscription is every issue I look at the price of the magazine, which is $7.99, and I compare it to the price of buying the products on the magazine separately. Obviously, you cannot buy this frame separately at the moment, and not at retail, not from Games Workshop directly. You could buy it on eBay, I guess, but that I'm not interested in eBay prices. I'm looking at official retail prices, and that's how I'm doing my price comparison. This issue makes it different, because it makes it different and difficult. So there's kind of two ways to look at it. You're getting effectively 5 Primaris Marines. They're not a complete unit, but it is a five-man set. So you can kind of look at it as a 5-man squad. An Intercessor squad of 10 men is £35. So you could argue this is a £17.50 frame. However, you can't really do that, because the £35 Intercessor squad is one of the really customizable ones. It's got a lot more options and things like that. It's got different attachments and weapon options, and you can pose the models differently. And obviously, of course, it also has a captain figure in there to lead the unit. So that's not necessarily the fairest way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to look at where these frames are actually come from originally, which is Dark Imperium and No Fear. No Fear is a £50 starter set, and it includes 2 of these frames and 3 other frames. It's 2 of these frames, 1 frame with the heroes on, and then a frame of 2 frames of the Death Guard stuff, I believe. I think that's right. I think that's how it works out. So I think it's 5 frames in No Fear. So and No Fear is basically 5 frames of miniatures and then some books. If we look at £50 as the asking price for 5 frames of miniatures, then you can argue that this is a £10 frame, because it's 1/5 of a set that costs £50. And that's, I guess, how I'm going to do it. I don't know if that's fair or not. But I'm going to say this is a £10 frame. I think that's a reasonable way to price up 5 Primaris Marines that are exclusively at the moment from starter sets. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this is a £10 frame, which means it's a saving of £2 and a penny over retail. What do other people think? Is that a fair way of doing it? I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that because you can't get this frame on its own anywhere else, its price is exactly the price of the magazine, $7.99. But I think that is undervaluing the contents of the frame a little. So I'm gonna go with £10. So a minor saving over retail. Golly, I've just spoken for a very long time about that, but it's a very complicated thing when they break up a box set for the frames like that. But yeah, we can expect to see another one of those in the future. This is the magazine. Yay, look, those are the Interceptors with their jump packs and their Mahu Civ guns. The cool thing about their guns is they've got these shield plates at the front. So as they're dropping into the battlefield, they can lock their guns together and shoot, and they're shooting through a shield wall whilst coming in at the speed of a meteor as well. So very cool concept. I like them a lot. Big chunky dudes. There's a thing about the Inceptor war gear. Assault bolters. So yeah, this is focusing specifically on the Inceptors. And then you've got this bit about how to build your new Space Marines. Test assembly before gluing, so that you don't end up with that shenanigans. See, his hand isn't matching up. So these are going to be some of the more difficult ones to put together. Although they're from a starter set, they are a little bit more... you need to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more exact. Glue safety and clipper safety, folks. Never run with clippers. But as long as you follow these instructions, you shouldn't go far wrong. You can see here... with the head, there's two options for the head, and it does give. I mean, it's the same head, but it's just changing the direction. And this is what I mean. So see how he's following the line of his gun, and it's like he's leaning into that charge. He's moving forward. He's advancing. Whereas this one, he's looking away from the direction of his gun. It's like he's sort of twisting to observe the battlefield. So that's really interesting. It's a very minor change, but it really does just gives a little bit more of a just a little bit more character and a little bit more variation. But they're very straightforward miniatures to put together, really. You just have to make sure that the most difficult bit is, like they showed on that previous page, is that the weapons, that the hand is separated at the wrist. So you have to make sure that that gun is going to match up with that wrist. And there we go. And then we've got some stuff about painting. So we've got Intercessors, Hellblasters, and Interceptors. They're all basically the same. But that's quite nice, because each step is they're showing you each character. That seems very dark looking through my my camera lens. I don't know if that's coming out really dark on when it comes to being shown on YouTube. I don't know how dark this is going to come out, but it looks very dark to me. But there we go. That's adding the lead belcher. The painting guide is going to be quite big because it's sort of one page per colour. I like that. I like the fact that they really break it down and they give you that level of step-by-step detailing. But these are ready for action, but there is still more you can do to them. But already looking pretty flash. You'd be quite happy taking that down to your hobby game shop and putting that on the table. No one's going to complain about that. And then we've got a mission: secure the Fallen. The Space Marines are using 5 Intercessors, 2 Hellblasters, and a single Inceptor. And then we've got the rules for flying units, because the Inceptor is a flying unit with its jump pack. And here we go. We've got the data card for the Hellblaster squad, the data card for the Inceptor squad. Obviously, we've already got the data card for Intercessors from a previous issue. And then here's some stuff on subscribing. I do like the fact they're keeping the back of the data cards free, so you're not, when you take that out and you're using that, you're not taking out a bit of the magazine that you need. That's quite nice. Nicely thought out. And there we go. We're on the back page. We're already looking at our next issue. So we've got the Munitorum crates. Our second set of those. So that's not going to be a very exciting issue, I don't think. Terrain's good. I like terrain. I'm a big fan of terrain. I think terrain is important. But having already had a magazine that had that exact set of terrain in, it loses some of its appeal. Because obviously one of the big things about a Partworks magazine is the excitement of what you're getting next, and constantly getting new things delivered to you through the post when you get the same thing. Especially, it was only a couple of issues ago that we got the last set, and we know full well there is a third set of these coming, because Munitorum crates come in boxes of 3, and this will be our second one, and there will be one more. And then we go to issue 18. What's in issue 18? Dun 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 dun. 2 new paints. Right. Just 2 new paints. So let's not talk about that for now, because you can probably figure out that that's not a great value issue. For now, what I always do at the end of these videos, I put up a running total, which is the price of having purchased every magazine at its cover price, which is normally $7.99, except for the first couple of issues, we're a little bit cheaper. And I will show the savings versus having bought everything at retail. And like I say, we will be using £10 as the base retail level for what came in this particular issue. Comments, queries, leave them below. I do my best to answer everybody and respond to everybody, as long as they're not just spamming me. And that's it for now. Bye everybody. Bye bye.